All right, welcome into SAC Digital Media Day. We're welcoming in defending champion Wingate head coach Rasan Jordan. Coach, thanks for taking some time today to talk some Wingate football.
I appreciate having me on.
So
Looking
year
forward to having a
one,
good conversation.
yeah, year
Yep.
one, you won the division, you won the conference championship, you made the playoffs, you had the Gene Upshaw best lineman and Division two award winner. How was it so easy for you in year one?
Well, I don't want to say anything about no easy. I mean, the SAC is unbelievable, man. I mean, obviously, I've been in this conference for a long time, and I respect every program that's in this league. And so, I tell our team all the time, man, like this, there is nobody in the SAC that's not going to give you the A effort when you get out there and you go out and play. So it's a meat grinder. It's kind of one of those amazing things that every time you see somebody win the league, usually it's going to be somebody that has maybe one loss, possibly two. You're a little amazed that somebody was able to run the gauntlet like that. Obviously there's some luck involved in it in terms of just tight ball games that maybe the ball just bounces one way for you or not. I was extremely blessed, like I said last year, to have this opportunity. The team that I was given, was a great football team with a lot of great talent on it, and I think my thing was just don't mess it up. So we just went out there and just put a lot of hard work and effort into it, and it was thrilling to see the guys win a championship. When you look at the championships we've won around here, it's been every 7 years, so it might have been just divinely ordained. We got 2010, 2017, 2024. So, hopefully it won't take till 2031 for the next time, or I might not be here. So,
Well, you think, I mean, looking back at that SAC championship game, and honestly, your year in general, the defense was unbelievable. I mean, you talk about a Carson Newman team that was one of the top five rushing teams in the nation, and you held them at, you know, 60, 70 yards rushing in that game. Um, just a Wingate special, right? You had the special teams, the field goal kicker made five field goals. You just suffocated them defensively and hoisted the trophy at the end. Talk about, that experience for you in your first season and what was like, the planning, the preparation, and then bringing home that trophy.
well, the first thing I want to talk about is the field goal kicking piece. Because we struggled there early in the year. When you look at it from a statistical standpoint, uh, we were having troubles, and we worked on some things. We made a concerted effort. Excuse me, I'll take a drink. To try to improve that. And so I was so excited for him, down the stretch, for me to show him that type of belief and put him out there 5 times, and for him to be able to deliver 5 times when they stepped up and asked me, who should be the MVP, that he was unequivocally my first choice. I thought that was a great moment for him. Him and his family are going to remember that for the rest of their lives. What a great day. Defensively, we had a very talented group of kids, and we went out and lost that game. The first time we gave up, the 30 some odd points. And I just knew we were going to see Carson Newman again, because I know, what a great job they're doing over there, and what kind of challenges that offense presents to us, to defenses themselves. And the kids just took it really to heart. I mean, having a home game for a championship game, I think helped us a lot. And that was an older group of kids that survived COVID. Those were the group of kids that had gone on some road trips as freshmen during COVID and kind of got beaten up on the road as young players, coming right, basically right out of high school. So that was a mature, older group of kids. And the same thing with the guys on offense, because they did a fabulous job of keeping us off the field with burning the clock and really playing a total team football game from that standpoint. So, like, I felt like that group of kids from that won that championship, they were just a really rock solid group of human beings, great athletes that just that were determined to put it all together on that one day on that home football field and send themselves out in a way that they can remember for the rest of their lives.
Last thing we'll talk about last year a little bit. We didn't really we talked about him a lot in the preseason, but now he's finished up. But just tell us Marquise Fleming's impact on your program. Back to back Defensive Player of the Year in the region, in the conference, and then the Upshaw Award winner.
It's an amazing story because I mean he's a local guy coming out of the city of Charlotte. Obviously he doesn't measure on that level of Division One, but he was a Division One athlete. And I think that's the biggest thing. Over the years we've had several guys that were fairly similar. Obviously, Marquise's career is a Hall of Fame career. After the last game, I called Joe up and said, "So, are we putting him in the Hall this week or what?" And it's unfortunately, I think there's like a 5 to 10 year waiting period within the university for him to go in, but undoubtedly he's going to be there. And he was just like a settling force. Like when you knew plays had to be made, he was going to be there for you. So as a defense, and as a play caller, you have a sense of calm to you because you have a guy out there that is at a very high elite level. So it allows you to play defense a certain way. Obviously, he's going to be a big hole missing in the program this year. But and the other thing, he's just a great kid too. I mean, never been in any trouble here. Always does the right things. Great in the classroom, getting his master's degree. I mean, like that's what Division Two is all about. In this crazy mixed up world of what's going on now, guys like him having that tremendous amount of success and graduating with an undergraduate degree and getting a graduate degree and being able to go on now, and he's working in the banking industry right now. That it's just a beautiful thing to see that happen. And just, we couldn't be more proud and happier that he was a part of our program.
Looking ahead now to the 2025 season, Wingate is never going to be a school that's going to fly under the radar. You're going to be on a lot of people circling that game on the calendar regardless. But now that you're the champs, now that you had the third best defense in the nation, made the playoff run, hosted a playoff game, I think that game just now everybody's going to want to beat you, right? Not that they didn't before, but they want to dethrone the champ. So how does that mentality going into camp, maybe even within your program, you think you've made it, right? You think you've already won the championship this year. How do you kind of come in this year with a fresh slate and keep everybody
Well,
dialed in?
I think well, last year's last year, and there's a lot of coach speak that kind of comes out of this because, but that is what it is. You know, that we're not defending champs because the championship that we got last year can't be taken back from us. That's 2024's team. This is 2025's team, and we are 0-0. We haven't done anything. We haven't earned anything. Uh, yes, there is some legacy things there that you use from a culture standpoint to try to build upon previous year's successes to continue to move forward in the right way. But as far as going to practice, it's still going to be boots on the ground, hard work mentality for us. That's what it is. That's how we got there last year. That's how we're going to get there this year if we're lucky enough to do it. It's going to be like this is a brand new football team. We're going to treat ourselves as a brand new football team, and anybody that doesn't understand that is not going to be a part of the process for us because we can't live in the past. I won't allow them to live in the past. If we do that, then we'll be watching somebody else celebrate. And so from that standpoint, yeah, we know that you have a target on your back. Well, that's you have to embrace that. The SAC already is a tough league to begin with in the first place. And if somebody has more motivation to knock you off so they can say, hey, we beat last year's champ, that's great. But we still have to go about our business where we are going to earn every inch, every yard, every meter, however you want to look at it, next year. And so we're going to come at camp. We're going to push them hard. They're going to get after it hard, and we're just going to keep moving forward.
And you think about Wingate, you automatically think of just defensive dudes, right? Like just playmakers, tough, tough defense all the time. Who are you excited about on the defensive side of the ball here in 2025?
Well, we got a great young cast of characters coming back. We got some older guys that are coming back. We got some guys that have been under the radar because of some of the starters that we've had in the past defensively. So, looking at the Kai Russells of the world, the Jonathan Crosses, guys that have been here 4 and 5 years. We get Jaquan Edwards back, who unfortunately for the last 2 years hasn't gotten past the second game. But he has been a defensive stalwart for us from previous years when we had some very excellent defensive units. Brandon Perry had an outstanding year for us this year. And then we also have some younger guys and some newer guys that are going to come up on, we got from the safeties position, Omar Ba, Diego Aviles, Ryan Green, David Squires. So there's a plethora of guys that we're really excited about to see, step into some roles that they were out there last year. Manju Berte, another defender on up front. These guys were out there last year, but they were in a role where maybe not as visible because of the other marquee players that got recognition in front of them last year. So it's their time to step up now. So that's what we're really excited about seeing from that side of the football. And I think the same thing from an offensive standpoint. Like we can push the football down the field. We can grind you. You don't win a conference championship by being one dimensional. We play a certain style of football here that's complementary, and our offense, aids the defense out just as much as anything else with holding on to the football, making sure that we don't create a lot of mistakes for ourselves by turning the football over, gambling when we need to, taking the shots when we need them, but being an efficient offense and being, strong up front with Will Hart and Beatty Acosta and a number of the other guys like Liam Towie. And, we lost a lot of guys on the portal this year as well. So from an offensive standpoint, we'll have to see where we are there. But I think just overall, it's just been a tremendous opportunity for me to work with these guys and have them roll out there for us every Saturday and put those type of performances together.
For the second straight year, you're going to start with UNC Pembroke. You get them at home this year. Your first two actually will be at home this year with Bluefield State second.
Yes.
What's that mean to kind of start with the home crowd behind you for 2 weeks in a row?
Well, it'll be good. It's some of those years. I think sometimes it's easier to start on the road because the concentration can be better because you kind of sequestered yourself in hotels. But staying at home and being in front of our crowd and having our fans and being able to feed on that energy is always a huge thing for us because we have a great home environment. Our fans really show up and do a great job of supporting us here. And so I think having a younger football team. I think that has some advantages to it in terms of some comfortability pieces and in terms of showing up at the stadium and having familiar surroundings and doing those types of things. So hopefully we turn those into advantages, those first 2 weeks. So be happy to be able to sleep in our own beds for a little bit, but we got to make those things work for us.
Yeah, those 6 p.m. Wingate games are always something to behold, right?
Oh, yes,
But
sir. Yes, sir.
so when going into this year, I guess last question here is what are you most excited about for this 2025 season?
I'm always excited about the growth and the development of the guys that are getting the new opportunities. That's really the biggest thing that you take away from this. Obviously, there's the competitive side that coaches go through in this business of you're in this to compete and you're in this to get wins. But the other human side for me is just to watch the growth and the development of those guys that haven't had an opportunity before to really, get into the spotlight and allow them to have that chance because at the end of the day this is part of their real life. Like when they're done playing football, these are going to be experiences that they're going to go back on and draw upon of like the quality of what their life was. And so we want to be a part of that as a coaching staff of being an enabler, someone that was helping you get to a point in life where this mattered to me, this was a great experience in my life. And so when we get out there and we see these newer names and faces for the public making plays and then seeing them come off the field and with all the passion and joy and hard work they put in it, and then to see that kid make a play, it touches my heart. It really does.
Well, there you hear it. The 2024 SAC Coach of the Year, defending SAC champ, Rasan Jordan. Thank you so much for taking some time today to chat.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.